Hello and welcome to Rebels Radio latest interview. I'm joined by Slough Town Joint Manager Neil Baker. How are you, Neil?
Very well, John.
We're here to talk about reflecting on Hereford United, the victory 2-0 at home last night.
Great win for us, really. We're absolutely delighted to have 3 points, and probably more importantly than anything, a clean sheet. It's been a long time since we've kept a clean sheet. Absolutely delighted, really.
Yeah, the conditions were challenging when you got there. Wet underfoot, blustery.
Yeah, I mean the pitch was in great nick. I'd spoken to Ian Gould during the day, and he'd said that they'd been up preparing it. We were a little bit more worried about the wind, but it wasn't as bad as we first feared it might be. But it's still, it's still difficult. However, we set our lads up with a game plan yesterday, and it was to be quite direct.
That was noticeable in the first kind of 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
There was a lot of balls in the channels in behind that got Eddie working at them.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they're a young side, Hereford. They're a good side if you let them play. They're a very good side. However, we felt that our physicality could sort of put them off their game, and we could sort of get into them a little bit and play proper non-league football on a cold Tuesday night, when the winds are a bit blustery. So it was our intention to go and turn them round, not to play such pretty football, although when you get control of the ball and controlling their half, you can actually play a little bit more. But our intention was, if the lads at the back had the ball, to hit it long, and we'd sort of move up the pitch and work from there, really.
Yeah, it was an unchanged 11 from the draw at Cambridge on Saturday. Was that a simple decision to make?
Wasn't simple. We'd obviously played well second half at Cambridge and showed a lot of character, and we just felt that sometimes you can make changes for the sake of changing it. George is still not 100% with his head, although he's obviously played a few games. His confidence is a little bit, he's not 100% sure about it, and that was why he was on the bench on Saturday, to be fair. And we'd actually gone to change the formation against Cambridge, hence why Jake came out the side, and they've both done well recently. So it was just a decision that the lads that started the second half played well, and we felt that we would keep the side as it was.
And anticipating a tough challenge against Hereford, a big name in non-league football.
Yeah, I think they are a big name. Listen, Hereford's obviously in a bit of turmoil with the fans that are against the current regime and all that kind of stuff. Myself and John were talking about it. We don't care about that. That's got nothing to do with us, unfortunately. What we care about is what they're like as a football side. And the first 45 minutes we played up at their place was, for us, the toughest 45 minutes we've had all season, and so we knew that it wouldn't be an easy game. They're full time, they're training every day, so they're fit lads, and the season's getting on, they're getting used to each other, and a draw against Poole on Saturday away is a great result for them, and it sort of shows how good a result it was for us last night, because Hereford's a massive side, and when you turn around and say, we beat Hereford United, everyone's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. But at the end of the day, they're at the same level as we are now. Granted, they're full time still, but it's a great win.
Yeah, and a good start, a great start to the game. As you said, you had a game plan. You were playing slightly more directly, and you adapted to the conditions quite well. There was a few early chances.
Yeah, there was. To be fair, Alex made a great save probably within the first minute, although it was probably the fourth minute by the time the free kick was taken, because the referee took 3 minutes to talk to two players. But Alex made a great save. Then Dobbo got in off sort of a cross-come shot, and keepers made a great save against him. To be fair, keeper made a load of great saves against Paul the other day. And there were lots of chances. Then they got in one-on-one, and Alex came out and smothered it. And Eddie had a couple of chances.
They hit a post.
Yeah, they hit a post from a tackle. It was
neutral. It was a great game.
Yeah, I think it was. We were enjoying watching it, and we really worked hard. The lads worked really hard. You had a midfield four that put in a real good shift. The back four were very, very solid. Alex is impressed, and you've got the benefits of Eddie Smith and Scott Harris, who worked their socks off, and for us that was Eddie's best game in 6 months. He's we've had a chat with Eddie, over the last sort of number of weeks, because we didn't feel he was where he needed to be, and what we felt was lacking was his work rate. But since he's got back from fitness, he's come back to us with a great attitude, and his work rate is, for the last few games, has been tremendous. And something I always said to him is, when you do work hard, you'll create chances for yourself, and you'll score goals. And he's obviously doing that now. And he can't rest on his laurels. He's got to give us that week in, week out. And if he does, he'll score a lot of goals for us.
And it was a crucial time when his first goal came, just in injury time at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
You've had that done to you a few times. Was it kind of just desserts?
I felt that we had been the better side in the first half. It was a direct ball. It was a direct free kick from Reece that we'd asked him to aim for Dobbo, because the right back didn't really fancy much in the air, and we felt that Dobbo had the beating of him, and Dobbo's won a great header. But what Eddie's done from there was tremendous. He's just let the ball roll, and he's rolled his centre half. It's gone over his head, and he's just set himself nicely and put it through the keeper's legs. So it was a great finish. So yeah, delighted to go in at half time, because we'd already just said 2 minutes before that we'll go in really positive, because we were really pleased with how we'd performed. But to get that goal, it was great.
Yeah, there was a bit of bite in the first half as well. A few tackles flying in, some good physical challenges, but also some players perhaps pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, we were disappointed. To be honest, I was disappointed with a number of their players from the moment they got there. They showed a little bit of a big time attitude, asking us for, have they got complimentary tickets, and there was lots of other things, and that upset us a little bit. And there was a few incidents where a couple of their lads dived to the floor, to try and make out that an incident had occurred when it hadn't.
There was also a spitting incident.
Yeah, that was obviously the second half. Akinde, the 9, who's actually a good player. He's got aspects to his game where he could be a very good player, but his attitude, on the night was absolutely atrocious. And what he done to Jamie McClurg is one of the worst things you do in football. Spitting at somebody, it's disgusting. If it was one of our players, he'd be fined a couple of weeks' wages, no doubt, and you'd be looking at potentially releasing him from the club, because I think it's a disgraceful thing. And once he'd spat, we actually lost not our discipline, but we lost our shape and momentum for a few minutes, and it did affect one or two, but we shortly regained that afterwards, and we showed good constraint, really.
Yeah, there was composure in the second half. I would say it was a little bit more of a scrappy game, but there wasn't too many clear chances. But certainly Gogic wasn't under any pressure.
No, I don't think he had a shot really to save. Second half, we felt comfortable on the sidelines. We felt that we were doing the right things. We were turning them when we needed to turn them. We were delighted with the second half performance, to be honest. So, we weren't too bothered with the fact it was a bit scrappy, because that didn't play into their hands. So it was a good, or I'd say solid second half performance.
Yeah, and then just towards the end of that second half, you managed to get the kind of clinical goal. Were you nervous at 1-0?
You're always nervous at 1-0. You don't know what's around the corner. It can be a last-minute equaliser, like obviously at Hereford when we were only a goal to the good. So to get that second goal, which was very similar to the first goal in respect to ball from Reece, Dobbo's put in a great ball, and Eddie's finished with aplomb. It was very pleasing, and it just sort of meant that the last 5 or 6 minutes we could play out relatively comfortable.
Yeah, was it a reflection on the recent kind of injury crisis that actually you didn't really go to the bench at all during that second half?
No, we just felt that at the time, we were so solid as a unit. We had no problems on the pitch. We didn't want to change anything. Sometimes as I said, you can change things for changing its sake. To get somebody on, and it can sometimes affect the momentum or rhythm. And we just felt that last night wasn't the time to do it. Obviously, we brought Adam on for the last 5 minutes for Eddie. Eddie pulled up with a bit of cramp.
Nothing serious.
No, nothing serious. Just a bit of cramp. And yeah, sometimes, more often than not, we use our bench, but last night wasn't the time to use it, and there's no detriment to the lads that are on the bench. It's just how football is. So
Good. Well, then, looking to the end of the game, it was all looked to be quite normal and quite peaceful for the first eye of the beholder, watching the manager go shake hands and things like that. And then all of a sudden, out the corner of the eye, there was a bit of a melee going on.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it started. I know Nighty was involved with their number 9, and I think it was probably saying something along the lines of "you're a disgrace," because what he did was disgraceful. And to be fair to their management team, you know, John Taylor said that he would deal with that, you know, because he said it's not on. You know, fair play to him for that. But yeah, I mean, Knight obviously said something, and I understand there was a headbutt thrown. Somebody punched Ryan Parsons, I think, in the back of the head. You know, and to be fair, although there was a bit of a melee, our lads were relatively controlled. I mean, I had to grab Scott Harris.
I just thought it was a celebration.
No, it wasn't a celebration. Scott's quite a fiery character, and he's a strong boy. So you know, I just wanted him to get away from the situation, because you know he's a team player, and if he feels that one of his players is, you know, in a bit of trouble, he'll try and delve in. And you know, I needed to make sure he wasn't in that situation. That was quite tough because he's a strong boy, so I sort of gave him a bear hug and tried to take him away, but that wasn't easy.
Looking back, was there any particular strong performances? You've already mentioned the good work that Eddie put in. Was there any other particular performances that you'd like to talk about?
Oh, listen, I thought, you know, everyone put in a really good performance. You know, the back four were excellent. Reece and Billy were very dominant. You know, it was great that they got a clean sheet. The midfield four, as I say, was excellent. You know, Ben Edwards is, you know, he hasn't really been much in our plans, you know, but because of the injuries and stuff, he came in at Egham. We thought he was, bearing in mind he'd been on a beach for 3 weeks and got back on the Sunday. You know, he was the best player on the pitch against Egham, and we just, you know, sometimes his experience and the fact he just does things easy and breaks the play up. You know, he'd done really well at Cambridge, and again last night, you know, he put in a really good performance. I mean, the likeness of him playing Saturday, I would say, is probably doubtful, because you know he's not used to playing so many games in such a short period of time, and we do have to look after him a little bit. But it gives us another option in there, which is a great option to have. And yeah, you know, all round I thought Scott Harris, you know, harassed them up at the back, and Eddie, as I said, you know, I thought Eddie was excellent. Say, as good as I've seen Eddie play for a long time. So all round, from 1 to 11, they all put in a really good stint, and it was a great 3 points for us.
Excellent. So looking forward to the rest of the week, a little bit of training.
Yeah, we'll train on Thursday, you know, and Banbury sort of in mind. You know, hopefully we might have Guy Hollis and Adrian Sear back available, which will strengthen us even further. But obviously we'll see what happens Thursday.
Good. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I'll look forward to catching you up later in the week to look forward to Banbury.
Cheers, John.
Thank you.